Hey, Ray was sounding awfully chipper tonight.
He certainly was. And I'll tell you what, that guy has more friends in this town than anybody I know, that's for sure. You know, at Cardinal Stadium tonight, it was fireworks and farewell. To celebrate the 4th of July holiday, more than 20,000 fans turned out tonight, but they also came to say goodbye to the man who helped resurrect baseball in this city, Mr. A. Ray Smith. 5.5 years ago, Louisville was a city starving for baseball. It had been 9 years since a team was based here, and when Smith moved in, the fans turned out in force, setting minor league attendance records that may never be broken. Tonight, we join with everyone in saying thank you and good luck, A. Ray. Of course, there was baseball, too, and a lot of folks saw a good ball game, a good doubleheader, as a matter of fact. 4th inning, the Indianapolis Indians are up. Jack Doherty at third, and Dallas Williams lifts out a fly that turns into a sacrifice, and this ties the ball game at 1. We'll move on to the 6th inning. The Birds are coming to bat. Watch Jim Lindemann. He continues his hot streak. There's a double. It's a shot off the right field wall. Tom Pagnozzi is home, and it's 2-1. Joe Bover ends the ninth inning threat, striking out Luis Rivera to end the game. The Birds win it 2-1. In the nightcap, Indianapolis came back, and they took that ball game 7-5. And what about the Redbirds' parent club, the St. Louis Cardinals? Hey, they're tearing it up in Atlanta. Let's go south. Willie McGee up, Jack Clark aboard, and there's a rip down the line in left. Here comes Clark, and the Braves can't get him. Atlanta can't catch up. Right here, Jack goes downtown. Boom, instant home run. What a night he had. 4 more RBIs to run his total of 77. Tops in the major leagues. The Cards win it. Now, Cincinnati and New York. Ron Darling on the mound for the Mets, but Bo Diaz right here gets it all deep, and it's a home run. The Reds were looking awfully tough. Coming up, Diaz again. This guy had a heck of a night. Sorry about that, Ron. The beard won't work either. Diaz again for the Reds. Extra bases coming up here. This scores Dave Parker and Buddy Bell on the triple. It's 8-1 Cincinnati. We'll check the scores. Reds go on to win the ball game 8-3. Also, this afternoon, San Francisco beat Chicago 3-1. Montreal over San Diego. Philadelphia down Houston. Pittsburgh shut down Los Angeles. And as you know, St. Louis beat Atlanta 9-1 was the final. In the American League, Texas and New York split a doubleheader. It was Kansas City over Toronto. Updating your scoreboard, Chicago now leads Cleveland 3-1 in the 5th. Baltimore is trailing Minnesota in the 9th. Milwaukee is at California. Boston is at Oakland. And Detroit is taking on Seattle. Well, only in the world of sport do you find vibrant, athletic people being called old in the prime of life. But that's been the case of Jimmy Connors' Wimbledon. This year, 34-year-old Connors was the grand old man of center court. But today, true youth won out. Jimmy had slugged his way into the semifinals of Wimbledon, where he ran into Australian Pat Cash. Connors tried to battle, as he always has. But this afternoon, Cash was nearly perfect as he snuffed out Connors' Wimbledon dream in straight sets, 6-4, 6-4, 6-1. Afterwards, Jimbo admitted he never really got into the match.
And it's in. I was in the semifinal, and I had the opportunity. I had a golden opportunity here. And tomorrow I will look back and realize I let it slip away. I let it slip away, and that's not good.
With the victory, Cash advances to Sunday's final, where he will meet Yvonne Lendl, the 2nd seed. Today, Lendl took 4 sets to dispose of Stefan Edberg. Tomorrow, of course, the ladies' final matches the 5th straight Wimbledon championships of Martina Navratilova against the 45-match winning streak of Steffi Graf. And finally, more tough weather interrupted today's 2nd round of the Canadian Open golf tournament. 78 players were on the course when rain swept in, and they will finish the 2nd round tomorrow. But your leaders right now, or your readers if you prefer, David Frost at 6 under par. Nick Price, a fellow South African, is also there with Mike McCullough, Curtis Strange, and Steve Jones. A lot of newcomers up there, a lot of not big names, but talented players. That's it.
You're going to be working the 4th?
I will be working tomorrow and the next day, so I'm just ready for the holiday, folks.
In the spirit.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ben. If you're planning to whack at a softball this holiday weekend, listen up for a word of advice. Here's medical reporter Carolyn C. with tonight's Health Beat.
More injuries occur playing softball than any other activity except for biking or climbing the stairs. And doctors say many times people end up on the bench because they're not conditioned for the game.
We recommend very highly that they do some running, they do stretching, but most importantly, that they do coordination drills.
Many orthopedic surgeons say you should practice running sideways, turning and twisting, and don't try to run the bases for the first time when you hit that home run. Practice first.
The first thing you do when you get to the field or get out in the field where you're going to play is you sort of walk the area and look it over. There are lots of little dips and holes and even sprinkler heads that they can catch a foot on and sprain their ankle. When we're talking about the majority of people who play softball in America, we're talking about people that aren't really high-level athletes. And I think one of the big traps that they get into is they go out and try to buy the shoes that will give them the very best grip they can get. I think that may be just the wrong approach.
Instead, many people should buy shoes with the least amount of grip to help prevent a sprained ankle or injured knee. After all, an ankle sprain is 4 times more common than any other injury on the softball field. I'm Carolyn C., and that's tonight's Health Beat.
Believe it or not, some people have overweight pets, but most people don't like to be told that their pets are fat, but it might just lead to a trip to the vet and a special pet diet.
Being a pet in this man's world can be tough enough, but when you're an overweight pet, everything is a struggle. But more importantly, your pet's obesity can be a ticking time bomb of health problems about to go off.
Obese dogs have a higher incidence, about 70% higher incidence of cardiac and pulmonary problems. They also have about a 50% higher incidence of orthopedic problems, and they have about a 50% higher incidence of cancer, mainly because you have an overgrowth of fat cells.
Nearly half of all dogs and perhaps 1 in 10 cats are overweight. The cause, the same as people, too much food and not enough exercise. But don't be discouraged. There are some simple steps owners can take to help trim down their pets.
First of all, if your pet is obese and we want to go for a drastic weight reduction, there are some professional diets called, put out by Hills, called reducing diets, and it's called RD. If they don't want to do that, then they can take their normal diet that they're using, cut it about 15% and add vegetables. The main problem, the way dogs gain weight, the main culprits are table foods, snacks, and lack of exercise.
But probably the most important step is admitting that your pet is overweight.
Well, you're not the first person that said that, except I don't think he is.
And it wouldn't be so horrible now, would it be? Now, are you sure that Mookie could lose a pound or 2?
Maybe.
Of course, not everyone is convinced being fat is so bad.
If you can afford to be fat, you've got something going for you. So she has something going for her. She has me.
We're not through yet. Next, a trip to Minnesota for some grain bin yodeling.
I'm Ted Koppel. Coming up on Nightline, that boxcar tragedy on the Texas border has focused new attention on why illegal aliens need our help and compassion, and also on why we need them.
Finally tonight, a trip to a Minnesota farm to see how one farm wife is using a grain bin for something unheard of. When you arrive on the farm of Janet Sorensen and hear the echoey sounds of her singing, you can't help but wonder how the sound is made. But a look inside one of her grain bins gives you the answer.
I used to run out to the field and catch a ride with my dad on the tractor. And just to pass time the way he would sing. He's a good singer, and he would yodel. It was fascinating for me, because that was when I first heard it when I was a little girl.
But Janet Sorensen is no frustrated amateur when it comes to yodeling. Last fall, she won the Nation's Best Award. And if all goes well in Nashville this month, she may get her own TV show.
With the echo, with the acoustics the way they are, you hear everything right down to the details. It's a little sharp, a little flat. It's all there.
And with that, we wish you a happy 4th from all of us, and I mean all of us, right, at Channel 32 News. Inviting you to join Steve Bergen for the news tomorrow at 6. Ben, what's coming up at 6?
Martina and Steffi, a big one at Wimbledon tomorrow. John.
And before you go to the fireworks display, check with Reed at 6. He'll let you know the latest weather. I used to be a yodeler way back.
Someday we'll talk about it, but not now, John.
Oh, what a bad
Good
break.